Joining me now from southern Israel is Efrat Machikawa, the niece of 80-year-old hostage Gadi Moses. Thank you so much for talking with us at this difficult time, with the bodies of 6 hostages discovered in a Hamas tunnel in Gaza, while your 80-year-old uncle remains in captivity. So what are your thoughts at this time as you try to process this shocking news?
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, indeed, for 11 months of abuse and starvation and torture, all of those 6 in the Hamas captivity made it. They were alive, they survived, they made it, they were strong, and yet they were murdered. And that's really scary, and that shows that there is no time and that the decisions of the Israeli government are wrong. And it's time to seal that deal. There was a deal since May, and we know for sure that those people could have been home, including my uncle. And we are crying out for international assistance and for people within our government, and especially our prime minister, who is really making a very dark legacy of what he does, to stop and get that ceasefire and get them home. They have to be home.
And we're seeing that pressure. Hundreds of thousands of protesters taking to the streets of Israel. We saw that Sunday, angry with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, as you are, and demanding, as you've just said, that he accept the ceasefire and hostage release deal. And now, of course, Israel's largest labour union calling for a nationwide strike today. We're seeing some evidence of that at the airport, and that's all to increase this pressure. How likely is it, do you think, that Prime Minister Netanyahu will respond to this pressure?
We have been in the streets since almost the very beginning. And I have to tell you that yesterday it felt different. There were so many people, and we did feel that other people who were not out in the streets did come. It was really packed. And we hope that by gathering, our only democratic way of protesting will bring the voice of the people to its prime minister, who is not taking responsibility, who is not fulfilling what he should do. And I know that our people are held by a terrible terrorist organization, but we elected our prime minister, and it's his responsibility. And it has been 11 months now. They should have been home. And for the strike, yes, Israel is on strike, and we are thanking the head of the Federation of Labor for joining us and for understanding that everything should stop. There is nothing more urgent in Israel and in the Middle East right now but the return of the hostages that will rewind the circle of revenge and the killing. We want to stop that. It is time to concentrate on the morals of values we grew upon, morals of life and redemption and growth. We should stop the death cycle.
And some critics are going so far as to say that Prime Minister Netanyahu has failed the people of Israel. Do you agree with that?
Sadly, I totally agree with that. I think that he had so many chances. We know that at least the deal from May was on the table, and sabotaging and giving all these excuses of suddenly we hear of the Philadelphia corridor or other things. I think, as many others, that he is doing this for his own political survival. And he forgets that as a prime minister, he should first take care of his people and his state, and yes, also of our neighborhood and region. This is his responsibility. He has to be the one to sign that deal, not to abandon everybody, but to bring them back home by a deal, by a ceasefire. It is time for them to come home, including my very, very dear uncle, Daddy Moses, who is a peace activist who was traveling around the world saving other people's lives through agriculture, through the correct use of wastewater. He saved so many lives, and yet he is somewhere, we don't know where, in Gaza, kept as no one should be treated in the whole wide world.
Efrat, tell us more about what you would like us to know about your uncle. I mean, he has an extraordinary background, doesn't he?
Yes, please excuse me. Daddy Moses is the kindest person. He is the guy that is within a group, always shines with joy and kindness. He's a very, very strong, spiritually strong man. And I believe he is holding up there. I believe that everybody around him already learned how kind he is and how knowledgeable he is. He is, as I said, a peace activist. He was working with different Arab countries like Egypt and Jordan. He was even guiding Palestinians all his life to try and to overcome hardships through innovation in agriculture. And, you know, there are 12 grandchildren waiting for grandpa to come back. And we want to have his hug. We want to hug him. We want everybody back. They should be able to rehabilitate, and we should have all those who were murdered back for respectful burial. And Gadi loves wine. And he and his friends in Kibbutz Nir Oz were unfortunately one of 4 people were either brutally murdered or abducted. They have planted a vineyard and they have their own grapes and they make their own wine. And I wish for him to have that freedom and that sense of normality back, and may we be able to toast for life. Cheers for life once he is back.
Efrat Machikawa, we wish the same, and I know how difficult this has been for you to come on and speak to us, to all our viewers, and to tell your story and to talk about your uncle and what this means for you. And we hope this all ends very well and very quickly. We hope that all the hostages are brought home.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we really do hope it's up to our Prime Minister. He has to do the right thing and bring his citizens back home.
Thank you, Efrat.